our mask already created. And we are now going to proceed into the painting part. All right, I'm so excited. Any kind of flat palette that you can find. And we have, and we went over our colors in the first video so that you could be ready. We have our quarter size each time that I am using our paint. And the next one is our cerulean blue. All right. And now we're going to use our violet, which is going to be our red. And I'm going to show you, I separate how far I separate my paints so that I can have mixing room in between. All right. And my whites and yellow and my blue, my darker blue, is just in the jars. And when I get ready for them, I usually take a palette knife, and today I have a plastic knife here, and I just simply scoop it out and use it as needed. Okay. We're going to start with our medium-sized brush, wet it real good because we are going, I don't want to use that one. We are going to be using acrylic paint here. And so with acrylic painting, you need water. You need water to keep those paints really nice and juicy and coming on your canvas really nicely. Okay. So I'm gonna grab my medium brush. I'm going through my brushes here because I really want to get a really good size one. I'm gonna start with number 14. All of our brushes are different, so I'm gonna pull out here all the brushes that I know I'm going to use. Okay. And I like to go small, medium, and large. So that's small, medium, and I have large in my hand. And then if I need a really detailed brush for fine lines, then I'll use that. Sometimes these brushes come with these fan brushes. I don't use those per se a lot unless I am um, creating animals or clouds. Animals or clouds. So I put those in water for now so that they can get the brush bristles can get nice and wet. Okay. After I dip my water in the brush in the water, excuse me, I dab it on the paper towel slightly. We want to dip our brush into our white first, and we're going to go with the lightest color that you choose. Okay. But if you're following with me, we are going to paint the very middle one first. So I dip my brush into the white, and I'm going to put my brush, the corner of my brush, okay? Not the whole brush, the corner of my brush right there in this blue. Barely put it there, and look how light that made that light blue. And so that's going to be the first mask, and it's going to be the lightest side of my mask, the lightest side. And it's going to divide it down the center. So that's why you see the chin line. So taking your brush, and if you are painting a small section, what I like to do is use a small brush. But if I am painting a wide section, I use a wide brush. Okay. Um, if you don't like to paint using your pencil, you can take a black permanent marker at this time and outline everything that you have drawn with your pencil and then proceed on to paint. I'm going to just paint the lightest side here, and then I'll give you some time to paint in the section that's going to be the lightest for you. Okay, and remember, it's so light that you barely see that blue. Okay, and I'm going to go right up against the line where the nose is, and then I'll stop right there and then get my smaller brush after you've outlined everything with your Sharpie. And notice if that goes over that line with a Sharpie or a marker, it could just be painted in. So if you can't find a marker, just permanent marker, just get a regular marker. See how it paints over, but it bleeds in to the rest of the paint. So I'll take a pause right there for you to grab your marker and outline. And please forgive me, I could have told you that before we actually left the drawing live for the other videos. Please forgive me. All right. So I'm going to give you a chance now to just outline those masks. Get those all in. And that's going to be the lightest side when you get ready to paint. And we're going to keep this really colorful and bright, okay? Even if you started with the first mask, that'll be fine, and then I'll take breaks for the second one and third one. Okay. Okay. All right. Now grab your brush. We're going to do the smaller brush this time. And we're going to, just one step down, we're going to put a little bit of that beautiful violet into that same mixture that we had at first. Okay. And then we are going to put some little bit of value to make it look a little more 3D in our mask, just along the edge. All the way down that side of the mask. And it's still a light value because we just use that lighter blue when we painted the other side of the full mask light blue. And I'm going to let that dip in here and go along the nose line. Remember, this is going to be nice and fun with a mixture of Wayne Thiebaud and Andy Warhol style. Now, I've been in this style for about a couple of weeks now. I find it important to learn from the masters, learn from the artists that did what we're doing before we started doing it. Okay, to me that's important. Grab a little more of that magenta and go one step above, one step up. This was the lightest blue, then we put a little bit of that magenta. Now we're going a little bit, not magenta, violet. It looks magenta on it. We're going a step shade darker, and then we're going to do the other side here. And we're going to gradually start going darker with that violet paint on the right side. It is an acrylic painting, so you must use water to help your paint glide smoothly. As you see that I had to dip back into, or you probably heard me, dip back into my paint. All right, and I'm going along the edge. And some of these colors on this other side is going to blend into even more other colors. Okay, so don't think that you're doing something weird. It's going to blend. Trust the process. And when we're painting, that's what we're doing. We're pretty much trusting the process as we're painting because we're learning as we paint. I'm loving how that purple comes up. It's this beautiful violet hitting my blue marker and making this gorgeous purple. Okay, I'm going to go a step up now, and I'm going to grab my blue now and mix it in with my violet. It's going to make a really beautiful shade of purple. And all of our shades is going to look different, and that is okay. I'm going to put a little bit of purple right down in that chin to kind of express a different shadow side in against the nose, right in the corner where the eyes would be, right? And right in the corner of the nose. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab my wider brush now because I need to pull in some more of those whites. Remember, this is fun and whimsical with pop, bold colors that's going to come through. And let's let these two blend together slightly. Get a little bit of that green and mix it with the, I know this is going to be weird, but remember that I told you we was going to mute some colors, so mixing secondary colors together with the primary. Take a little bit of that violet and mix it with that green, and let's create a really cool shadow on the right side, barely on top of that magenta that we created first. And let that color kind of add white to it now, and let that color fade into the center of the face. And that just really ties together, which is harmony. It ties together all of those colors that we've just used. It's that middle ground color. But we do have to add white to it to make it work. I'm going to go over that line just a little bit with the corner of my mouth. It's not going to hurt it any. It'll still show up. Gorgeous. You can exaggerate this one. This mask here is going to be the lightest mask that we have. I'm going to now take, sorry, I almost got a step ahead of you. Clean your brush really good. We're going to take some yellow and a drop, barely a little bit of that green, but more of the yellow. And look at this color that it's going to make. Isn't that beautiful? It makes a neon yellow green. Okay, I'm going to hit that on the edge, not covering all the pink up. Okay, and make some lines with this green. And I'm going to randomly put these lines in different spots around my mask. These beautiful colors here. Look at how that neon really allows the painting to pop some more. And that's where we come in, pop art, right? You get it now? Okay. Clean that brush. And we're gonna pop some more color in here in a second, okay? We're going to now use our dark blue. And the reason I want you to go to, excuse me, this shadow is for a specific reason, okay? Take this dark blue and paint the shadow that is separating your two masks on the right. I'm going to show you a beautiful trick here with shadows. It's really not a trick. It's something that we pretty much already knew, but we forget. What we want to do now is we want to take a little bit of white. Don't clean your brush. Dip into the white and mix it with that blue. And right here on the edge, like I just did, put a little bit of light blue. Okay? Just a little bit. Not so much that it's white. Okay? Just a little bit of blue that it shades, leaving that dark blue. Okay? Then we're going to do something else again. Let's get that part. And this time we're going to put some of the colors that we see in our mask in our shadow. So I know that I use some purple. I'm gonna put one line of purple, and I know I use some green. And right next to that, I'm gonna put a little green. Now, if it becomes too much of a line, like you see that dash, too much, too much, I'm gonna take my blue again and go back over it. Look at how that blended in. Keeping the darkest part of the blue right next to the edge of the face. It has to be on the edge, the darkest blue. So now we're going dark, light to lighter. Isn't that cool? So remember that when you're creating shadows, is go darkest dark right up against the object. Put the colors of the object in the shadow, okay, on top of the dark part. Then add white to the shadow color and get a little lighter because shadows fade as they go away. Now, we're going to make an orange. And there's one thing about many pieces of Wayne Thiebaud's art, okay? He did a lot of orange trims on a lot of his shadows. It was really, really cool. I liked it, okay? And remember the pop art Andy Warhol style that we're going with is the repetition of that one object. You could do six later. You could do add another canvas to this canvas and do three more masks and make one big mural of a whole bunch of masks, and it will look more Wayne Thiebaud, right? Even uh, it would look more Andy Warhol, excuse me. Even Wayne Thiebaud did multiples of objects, like with his desserts. So really big on the Wayne Thiebaud style for this painting. But if you want to study Andy Warhol just to see some of the things he did, it will replicate a little bit of this style. So let's take a little bit of our yellow now. You can clean your brush. You can use, if you got a square, you can use it. Or if you want to switch over to your detail brush, which is the smaller one, you can do that. We're going to take this beautiful bright yellow that we have and barely put a drop of magenta on the corner. Look at that little bitty drop that I put there. And you're going to mix it into your yellow. And we're going to make an orange. Excuse me, I had to take a breathing break. Let's take a deep breath so I can breathe. And we are going to, I'm going to do this and then you'll do it. create an orange line right up against the edge of that shadow. Okay. And if you have orange paint, yes. Okay, yeah, you can use orange paint. But for me, I love to use the colors that I like to make the colors. And I like to make the colors literally using the colors that I'm already using for that object. Okay. We're going to make some beautiful lips. Okay. And you can choose any color for your lips. It doesn't have to be that a mask has red lips. Your mask can have any color lips that you want. Right? I don't want to go with the blue because I want my shadows to be something that stands alone by itself. So I might just go with the violet just by itself. I'll mix the violet with the dark blue to re-outline the shape of the lines that describe the lips. Don't try to use a big brush when you don't have to, especially in corners and small spaces. Switch over to the smaller brush. Right now, I just use this dark blue to separate the lips, re-outlining my line. Then going back into my lips. Feel like a warrior. I have two brushes in my hands. With this one, I'm going to paint a little thicker. And now, got a glump of paint right there. Just so that I can lay this line really thickly on here and leave it. Clean the brush and finish out. Beautiful lips. This is going to fade slightly into that light blue in just a second. I'm going to put a little bit of white with that magenta to show a highlight. Too much. Just a little bit. Light right there too. How can I make my lips pop? I can make them pop by putting a couple of lines of yellow to describe the shape of the lips. If it bleeds in and look more green in some areas, I'm fine with that. Make that purple. So I lost that shadow right there. I have to remake that purple, didn't I? Okay. my lip need to blend slightly into that lighter blue that I made. And so I'm gonna do that right here. Make like a shadow color and let it blend into the lips slightly. Darker blue now for the corners. And I'm only going to do the video here for this one mask so that you're not sitting here watching me paint every single mask, right? But you're getting this tutorial here, you're getting the gist of how to paint your mask with pop art, pop colors, and you will be able now to paint the rest of your mask with this same concept in mind, and just keep repeating, adding these beautiful colors throughout. Notice that I have not used black yet. Um, I typically do not use a lot of black in my paintings. I mix colors to make things look dark, right? So I know that I can mix my magenta, green, and blue together, and it will give me a dark enough color that would appear like that to look black. And I can put a little bit of that in my eye area and eyebrows. But I'm going to show you, for the sake of showing you, how that dark Paynes gray or black would look if I did put it in the eyes. And it looks really good, right? Yeah, it does. Here is where you can start to exaggerate even more different parts of your mask. Like if you want the eyes to do some fun curve, you can. Just like I did right there. And you are having fun with these masks and painting them in your way, your style. But I did want to show you how to mix certain colors to make it pop. And notice how we're using light colors against dark colors to really give that pop effect, okay? I'm gonna do something fun over here. Don't know what, but I wanna do something like a little rosy, but not so rosy like the trimming on that side. So if you can tell how that looks, it's a really beautiful plum color. Okay, just a little more red in it. And I'm going to leave some textures of the brush strokes visible in there, like in that swerve look, just like that. And I'm going to lay that in and I'm going to leave it. Not create another line or fix it or blend it. All right? For color harmony purposes, I'm going to take that same color that I used and just put it somewhere else. I like to do that because it creates a more cohesive work of art, which means that, you know, everything looks like it flows together naturally. see on this side, I really want to put a little more of the light pink color on this side, just for some nice balance. I like to paint using lost and found lines for brush brush stroke variation. Okay, having a variety of brush strokes using like mark making lines, like I'm actually drawing with my paintbrush. I like to do that. And see how when I use those type of lines here, it just really makes the mask look even more 3D on this rather flat surface. And that's okay. And don't go overboard with the colors. Stay with the same color family that you are already using for this mask to work out problems. And this is making a really beautiful yellow. When I mix that violet with the green, I don't know how that's happening. Cool against warm. That's what it's doing. And I'm going with it. You see how I just went with it? It's like, yes. Right. And for color harmony, let's put, oops, that yellow line, another yellow. Let's pop it. Just some yellow, some real yellow. Not making the yellow, but real yellow, right? Just a nice outline around it. It almost made a yellow orange, but hey, it still goes with the rest of the painting. And I want that right there. That's it, people, for how to paint your shadows and how to paint the pop art colors, making them bright, making them stand out. And you can choose any colors that you like. You can blend in more um, colors using the same colors that we have over and over and over and over again. I love to do that. It's so fun. If you don't like that, if it seems not to pop like you really want it, just keep working with it. Do not mix more than three colors together. I find that it will make your art or the colors look a little too muddy. Okay, and we're not going with muddy, are we? No, we're not. Right? And so yeah, have fun with this. Keep painting. If you want to, you can go ahead and start putting in. Once you finish that mask, you can start putting in the shadow color for your other two masks, so that by the time it's really time for you to go in and blend the other colors in, you will be able to put that orange line without the blue bleeding into that orange, okay? I do that sometimes as well. Or you can just wait till you're ready. All right, now I'm gonna continue to paint just a little more with you, and then I'm gonna say my farewells. I'm going to paint this right mask here with you just for a little bit because I want to show you how to put the shadow into this part of the mask, and we're going to make it really dark. Okay, so going to get the right side painted here. I can check my time to make sure I'm not keeping you too long. Yeah, about 40 minutes in, that's not bad. Are you still with me? Can you paint in that shadow there? Add water to your paint if it's not gliding smoothly. Go a little bit under the mask on the right side. You don't have to go far. I'll leave that section like that. Now, this is going to be our little trick. I always say something is a trick, and it's really not a trick. It's just using what we know to create what we have, okay? So, for this part, we're going to really need to lighten up the drawing lines that we have. So if you have not already traced this one with a marker, you're going to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some white and we're going to draw out. I don't know what brush I want to use. I think I'll just use this one. We're going to draw out some light blue lines that's going to show us the features of the face. So get your white with your blue and recreate those lines that you have for the eyes, nose, and the mouth lightly. And you're going to understand why we're going to do this in just a second. Mine are shaping to be a really light blue. Not the shadow line here, but just the lips that will be in the shadow, the nose part that will be in the shadow, and the eyes that will be in the shadow, and the eyebrows. Okay. Then we're ready to move to the next part. So I'm going to give you time to get that part. And then we're going to start filling in the dark blue of the shadow for the face. All right? And this is going to be really interesting when we do this. We're going to put that dark blue half the way, like halfway in the shadow. So this will be halfway, that will be halfway, that will be halfway, right there. You can switch over to oh, I'm using white. I'm going to switch over to your bigger brush first and then grab, that's a separating line, so I need white right there. Okay, then grab your smaller brush to go along the edges or hold your brush up so it's on the flat side to get a really good straight line like that. That's how I do it. I know. You just saw me outline my shadow. Do that. Then we're going to put a little white with the blue, just a little bit. And we're going to light one shade up. And we're going to do the light blue for the rest of that shadow. Don't touch your drawing line. Keep that dark blue. I need to put a little more dark blue right in this corner, don't I? Right there. There we go. Eyebrow separated from the closed eye. Don't touch your lip. Get right on that edge. My lip is a sad lip. Your lip might be different. Okay. Right on that edge. That's it. Well, that's how we're doing that. If it's not dark enough for you, then you can put a little black with that blue or that gray and do that separated line to make it even darker. You don't have to, but if you want to. And I separate that shadow over there. Dark blue, light blue. I love it. Now, what did we do over here? We put the color of the mask in the shadow. We're not going to do that yet until we actually paint this mask. So choose your color. Okay, now remember this is going to be um, a lighter spot here, then dark here. So when we go away, we get darker. Okay, so what color are you going with? Choose your color and your main color. So your dominant color for the mask. We did a lighter blue here. We could do a light green on the other side because we did pink already. So let's do that. Let's get a little bit of white, mm, yellow, white, yellow, and then your green and mix it together. Get a little more white if it's too dark, okay? Because we want to have a little bit of light first. This is my light green right here. Oh, that's an ugly clump of paint, isn't it? Hmm. Come on off. I'll just blend you in. Notice now how it goes toward the right side of it, the mask. We got a little bit of more darker green, but closer to that edge is more white with that green. Be careful. You can switch over and use your small brush. I've learned to kind of paint here with one size brush. One size fit all. I'm going to put other colors on top of this dominant color shortly, but not now. I went over that line of the chin, but I'm going to put it back. blue with my green to show shadows underneath the nose and the lip section. Just a little bit of a line. I'm going to lay it and leave it line. A little more white. Let's keep going. Well, my paint is getting really glumpy over here on me. Need to add more water to it. Creating color harmony at this point, you're going to make sure that what colors you're using on one side, you can sprinkle those colors on the other side. Now I'm gonna switch over to my other brush because I need to keep some things a little more refreshed. Remember the colors that I use on one side, I will use it on the other side. I didn't really put a dark enough edge here, so I'm gonna put a little more black there against that blue. Put some yellow in the middle here. I'm gonna let you catch up in 1, 2 seconds. I said 1 second, but I'm gonna give you another one. 3 or 4. Now, like, when are you gonna give those seconds? I am. Sometimes I get wrapped into a section and I can't stop until I get it like I want it. And right there, I'm going to take that pause for you to get to this point. I'm back. Are we ready now to keep popping these colors in? All right, let's do that. You know, I feel like I need some more yellow in this mask. I just feel like I need more yellow. So let me just take some yellow and see what I can do. Oh yeah, I was right. Sometimes when you look at a painting, you can just go with what you know, okay? And what I know was I needed more yellow. When you step back and actually look at your painting, you find that you actually, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. You can actually see what needs to be in this space the more that you step away. So As I paint here, I noticed that that's way too strong of a yellow, so I'm going to pull that out. But I'm now starting to put the color here of the mask on top of this shadow. Remember that earlier from there? I'm doing that now. Ha ha ha. Color harmony, right? A little more of that magenta too. And you must say, well, why you don't have some of these colors at the top? Well, I'm gonna get there right now, aren't I? Fading those in. Let you get to this point as well. I like that part. And I study the painting as I'm going so that I can see what needs to happen, where it needs to go, where it needs to happen rather. Don't forget about that chin line. Putting that chin line back in. Shadow. I'm gonna outline my lips. I'm using a blue. This is really a predominant cool color mask. This one was more of a warm colored mask. My next one might be neutral. Who knows? This mask eyes are closed, so I need to add those lines back in, don't I? Where's my green to finish my nose? Forget that other part of the nose, right? There we go. I want to forget that. If you're watching at this time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. Please do share. I do um, kids classes, adult classes, all kind of classes, um, and mostly tutorials via virtual, just like these. And randomly, I give once a month tutorials via live, just like this. Um, and then I have others who follow me on Patreon to get more weekly painting tutorials. So if you'd like to, you could just go to that link that I have in the description. And if you can't find it, just send me a comment and I'll just send that right along to you. All right. Remember, he's a sad face. So I'm going to exaggerate that sad face for the lips going downward. This one's more cool tones, um, greens, and even my yellows have some green in it. Okay, more yellow green is still really cool. Okay. Give the same type of lip over there, but this time I'm going to tone it down a lot with the green, so the violet and the green. And notice it is creating that same color as the cheek, but it's lighter than the other lip, and it keeps it a little more cooler when I'm adding the green in with that magenta. switch and use some of my cerulean blue because I haven't really used that a lot, just to put some descriptive lines. Oh, that's very thick. Throughout my painting. So nice descriptive lines. And you can play with your paints to see where those descriptive lines will lay at, okay? I'm going to keep my background really simple for this painting, guys. You're going to see how simple in just a minute. I know I've taken up a lot of the time here, but I really find that this part of the tutorial is important. Putting that cerulean in that dark blue just a little bit, mixing those two together so that they blend in nicely. And that's why I didn't feel all the way to the edge. All right. Now, the reason that I wanted to do these two instead of all three with you is so that you can get an understanding of how to pop your colors together and how to separate the shades of color. Some reason I could not draw that line there and talk at the same time. It's crazy. Really crazy. This white to me is separating these darker features, and I like that. Mm. Didn't want that to be so bright though. There we go. Okay. And most of the time we paint face features that represent us. And you can tell here with the wider nose and the full lips, my ethnicity. And I love that. I really do. A nice, cool color here. That's a little brighter than normal cool. Right here. All right. So the only one that we have left, oops, no. Let's slow that down. And let's put some of this yellow green from our palette into that shadow slightly. That wasn't slightly when I said it wasn't. So what so what I'm gonna do is go over it with the blue. I can get heavy-handed at time with paint. Pull that blue back. But I can fix it, right? Always. That's what I like about um, this brand of acrylic. This is not an ad. um, but with this brand, Grumbacher, it allows me to paint just a little bit longer before it dries too much. All right. If I make a little snaggy snag. Here, I put that magenta in, and then I'm going to hit right there with a little bit of that orange, because why? I see that orange right there off that edge, just a little bit. Now I have colors from my object into my shadow. And if I did not say, remember that your shadow is shaped just like your object. And I'm going to come in with my blue now, and I'm going to re-outline this shadow that we had earlier. I didn't forget. I, I did almost forget. My bad. I didn't quite like that shape right there. Now, all right. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do follow me on TikTok as artist Tia, and I also have an Instagram. It's art and ministry, and I have a Facebook page, Creative Expressions Art Studio, and you will be able to watch as I live this beautiful life in ministry and as an artist, and you'll be able to see this finished painting here that I'm already starting while I'm talking to you, right? But you can get an idea of how this gorgeous background is going to go. And I'll post the finishing painting there. Thank you so much for painting with me and watching and learning. If you've learned something, give me a thumbs up. If you just like the colors, give me a thumbs up. If you just like the design, give me a thumbs up. I hope to share more tutorials with you. Thank you for allowing this time, this precious time of yours with me. Have a great day.